Okay, in this video I want to go over striking with the hands, and real quick I want to talk to you about the pros and cons of using a closed fist as opposed to open hand. Now, it's more natural. Humans tend to clench their fists when they get angry, when they get scared, when they get intense. What I want you to do though is I want you to, and initially I teach it like that. Initially, generally, normally, came to one of my classes. If you've been almost every here has been in my classes, so you know, I'll normally teach the boxing hands first, and then teach open hand. Because for some reason, I think because we're in the West, we all grew up watching boxing and kickboxing. Everybody's familiar with it, and it seems like I can get better body mechanics out of people when I teach it that way. However, you also know, if you've been in my classes, that I'll always emphasize that it's so important to become proficient with empty hand or open hand striking as well, particularly in a time such as this, which is kind of a time of emergency. There's weird stuff going on, right? Let me explain why. Most of you know I worked in nightclubs for about 23 years. 23 years and 6 days. So I've seen a lot of fights, a lot of fights, and I've seen a lot of people fight who were very skilled fighters. So a lot of the guys I knew were Golden Gloves champions, kickboxing champions. When MMA came around, MMA champions. So these are people who know how to fight, right? And I would still see these guys in a fight knock somebody out, but the very next week I'd see them back in the club and they'd have a cast on that hand. So what I want you to think about is that the bones in the hand are pretty small. And what you don't want to do is hit improperly and have a broken hand in a time when it might be hard to get medical care. So if you have some kind of like we're in a pandemic now, you have some kind of a natural disaster, you have something where it's like it's just a strange time in society. Right now, it's harder to get medical attention because in a lot of places, the medical facilities are overwhelmed with dealing with the coronavirus, right? So here's where open hand striking, I think, is very, very important. I think it's really important to get this down. And so what we want to do is we're going to use the same strikes from boxing, but we're going to do them with open hand. Now, when you're hitting with an open hand, it's important to kind of keep your fingers together. Don't get lazy and come in here and break a finger, because then we're back to an injured hand, right? So what I want you to do is keep your hands kind of, they don't have to be super tight, but keep them kind of together here. And you're hitting with the heel of the palm. You're not really hitting with the palm itself. When you hit with the heel, it has a great deal of structure, what we call backup mass, right? It's right in line with the arm, the shoulder, the body. And I have to tell you, old school martial arts days where we were breaking boards and stacks of bricks, still a lot in doing that. A lot of guys use their knuckles. I did that once or twice and went, forget this. And I started using the palm of my hand or the edge of my hand, because it doesn't hurt that bad and it hurts your knuckles. I don't care how much you toughen your knuckles, and believe me, I've been down that road, all the hand conditioning and knuckle push-ups and stuff, and it still hurts and it can still injure you. So heel of the palm, very effective. When you're coming in for the strikes that are more like a hook, you kind of have a choice. You can use heel of the palm. The open hand slap is extremely effective in this area, and particularly in the ear. Very, very effective. So we're going to have our hands up, okay? So our fighting stance is going to be kind of like our passive hands up stance. We're just going to, you can leave your hands like this. I tend to bring my hands in and then sometimes out. I'll have them here or here, okay? I like to have them relaxed because you can move faster when you're relaxed. So the jab is going to be just like a boxing jab, but again, we're using this as our striking surface, okay? So I'm coming here, I'm hitting here. Notice, I want you to take, I'm taking a small step, I'm rotating with my hip and the ball of my foot, so I'm putting my whole body lined up into that jab. I want to hit with power, right? It's not a flicking jab. It's not a jab to get points. It's a jab to, I want to disrupt the person. So hands are up, this comes out, keep your chin tucked. My instructor Burton used to tell me it's like looking through your eyebrows, right? If you keep your hand up and you're trading punches, you're more likely to get knocked out. You keep that chin down, this hand's protecting this side, and the shoulder protects this side, okay? So I'm here, there's my jab, palm of the hand, jab. Cross, just like a cross in boxing, but I'm using the palm of my hand. Very important that we It's hard for me to get an angle right now, I think, where I can show you my feet, but I'm pivoting on the back of my, pivoting on the ball of my rear foot. You all know this if you've been in my classes, I taught you this. Pivot on the ball of the foot, so I'm getting whole body power, but I'm also like pushing off the back of that foot. It's not just a pivot, it's a push. Okay, so I've got my jab, cross. Now instead of a hook with this, I'm going to use that slap or a palm. This is pretty prevalent also in Filipino martial arts. Also some old styles of Kung Fu, like the crane styles, the bird styles, they use a lot of open hands. Here's something interesting. I was talking with Jeff Speakman, the Kempo master from The Perfect Weapon. I had taught a JKD class out of his facility in Vegas over the summer, the first year he was there. So I got to do some training with him, some Kempo training. I taught some JKD. But he told me that his, because he was a 5th black in Okinawan martial arts before he was a Kempo guy. And he said the old Okinawan masters told him you use closed fist for the body, open hand for the face. Pretty interesting. So again, jab, cross, lead hook, rear hook, jab, cross, lead hook, rear hook. Now here's the thing with the uppercut. It's kind of weird, actually. It's kind of hard to do the uppercut in a way that doesn't hurt your hand if you keep the fist configuration this way. It's hard. I would say if you're going to do an uppercut, turn the hand. It's just easier on the wrist. So if I'm going to do an uppercut, it's more like this rather than like this. This kind of a hook translates to this, right? So people throw a hook like this or like this. Okay, the jab and the cross, it's not that much different. But with your uppercut, you're going to want to turn it this way. And you can still throw that uppercut as like a shovel hook digging into the body. Very good into the ribs and the liver, very, very effective. Okay, so a good way to practice those is you can throw them what we call SDA, or single direct attack. You can just practice throwing singles. Great to shadow box when you do this. Boom. Practice your defense when you're shadow boxing. Okay, hook, rear hook, uppercut, uppercut, maybe that uppercut dig to the body. Okay, that would be single direct attack. You're throwing singles. Okay, the next one is called ABC, or attack by combination. This comes from Bruce Lee's 5 ways of attack. So combinations, here's a couple combinations for you to play with. Jab, cross. Jab, jab, cross. Jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross, hook, hook. Cross, hook, cross. Again, cross, hook, cross. You can also switch that around and go hook, cross, hook. All right? You can also go cross, body hook this way. So again, close hand of the body is okay because it's a softer target. The bones in the face versus, or the skull versus the bones in the hand. And there's a high probability you're going to hurt your hand as well. Why do it? You know, I've always said, if you've been in my classes, you know, I'll say, hey, so what if it's like a bad situation? You got 3 guys, or some, you know, there's weird stuff going on these days, you know. So you hit somebody, you knock them out, but under pressure, you're usually going to use your dominant hand. And now if that thing is just, now what? Yeah, you can't manipulate a weapon or a knife or even your car keys, right? So get in the habit, train yourself to use those open hands. You can do the closed hands too. That's fun as well. But I would say, especially in these days, kind of strange days, yeah, let's use those. Let's get proficient with those open hands, okay? And play with those combinations. Those aren't set in stone. You do whatever you want with that.